Andrew Monaco's our buddy and the voice of the Texas A&M Aggies across the board, and he's got a big game tomorrow in College Station against Tennessee. We'll talk about that momentarily. Andrew, good to see you. I want to go back to the game at Columbia. You were able to win at Missouri by 3. Alabama wasn't able to do that. How did you win that game in a tough environment in Columbia?
They were able to play their defense, Scott, and always good to see you. Thanks for having me back. They were able to play their defense, and I thought, Scott, that they were able to do what they've done almost all season long. Every opponent's leading scorer has been below their average, and Caleb Grill, who's an outstanding shooter, the Aggies put a little bit of emphasis on stopping him, which helped a little bit, but it's their defense which is really part of their identity. And sometimes, Scott, this is what Buzz Williams will say. Sometimes you just get in a rock fight. Texas A&M will get you in a rock fight. It seemed to be a little bit of that, and then they made the plays down the stretch, and Wade Taylor IV made that shot to give them the win. But I would give all the credit to that defense being able to slow down what is a very good Missouri offense.
So you went back after that to College Station, and you won a couple of games easily against Georgia, and an 8-point win over Cal's Hogs of Arkansas. And in those 2 home games, you had it going. You're tough to beat in that building, and you've proven that. And I think that win on the road was really impressive. And then you lose at Stark Vegas. Now, they're a lot more deceiving than people think they are. They're capable of beating anybody. I'm not sure on a neutral court what they're going to be like in the tournament, to be honest with you. But when you play there, they're brutal. You guys lost there the other night. Tell me about the 2 wins at home and then to go to Stark Vegas and lose.
I thought they were big wins at home, Scott, because when you're playing in the SEC, I don't care if there's a number next to your name or not. That it's a gauntlet. And Georgia had some success, and the Aggies didn't play well in the first half of that game and really turned it on in the second half. Arkansas is a rival for A&M. They've always had good games, and really, it's like it's playing a combination of Kentucky and Arkansas. Cal bringing his guys from the Wildcats and some of those holdovers from the Razorbacks. Another physical team. And that's what they met, I thought, on Tuesday. Go back to the week, the 2 wins on the week. How do you respond to victory, Scott? I think we always ask the question of coaches, how do you respond after a loss? How do you handle victories? And I thought the Aggies handled that win at Missouri very well, getting those 2 home wins. Playing Mississippi State was playing like the Aggies. Buzz uses mirror opponents when you play an SEC school the second time. Mississippi State was a mirror opponent in that they played the same way that Texas A&M did. But I thought the Bulldogs did it much better than A&M played. I didn't think you had nearly the contributions from all the players, and A&M has to get contributions from everyone. I thought Mississippi State was more physical. I thought they were better on the boards. They forced the Aggies into turnovers. That's open floor, easy buckets. They have Josh Hubbard, who is just a guard who can just get loose, small, quick, can shoot. That was a guy the Aggies did not keep under his average. So you saw the ingredients of all the wins of what Texas A&M has to do. That's the recipe for success. I thought Tuesday in Mississippi State, the Bulldogs had the better recipe. That wasn't an A&M team, and they better find it as they take on Tennessee tomorrow.
You know, I watched the game, right, and they were winning at the half, I think, by a point or 2, and then what I saw was the team absolutely lost their shot in the second half. They couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in that second half. I think they shot under 30%.
So you have bad shots and you have turnovers, right? It plays right into Mississippi State's hands. And, Scott, you've watched Texas A&M enough that if you're going to miss the shot, at least go get that offensive rebound. Give yourself a second chance. Buzz Williams has this team. You have to take predictable shots. And by that means that, hey, Wade Taylor IV's got to shoot from this spot. Hayden Hefner from this spot. Zurich Phelps from this spot. They weren't doing that. There are certain guys who go get the rebound. There are certain guys who have to get back on defense. When it's unpredictable, that gets out of balance. And when they're out of balance, you're exactly right. So from bad shots to turnovers where you don't get any shot at all and you have to play more defense, I'm with you. I thought it snowballed, and I thought Mississippi State did an outstanding job of getting that momentum and never giving it back to Texas A&M.
Well, it's going to be, early tomorrow. It's like the first big game of the day in college basketball against a tough team. I think that kid Ziegler's a badass. He's coming off a really impressive performance against Vanderbilt. They come into your building, and it's going to be a hell of a game. What are you going to have to do against a team that plays great defense and that has veterans that can put it in the hole?
So you make a great point. I think when we talk about Rick Barnes' teams, we focus so much on the offense. This is the best defensive team in the SEC. They've got great defense because they've got length. I'm with you. I think Ziegler is absolutely the engine that makes them run, whether he is penetrating or he can hit from the outside. They've just got a lot of lengths, don't they, as well, with Milicic, and Chaz Lanier is one of the great scorers in this league. The Aggies have to trust that defense. Scott, what's interesting is you think you have a mismatch with the Aggies on defense, but bigs will guard guards, so they will switch, and you're thinking you have a mismatch, but the Henry Coleman IIIs and the Anderson Garcias and the Solomon Washingtons, they can guard those guards. It's not as much of a mismatch as you think, but if Ziegler is penetrating and not just scoring, but when he penetrates, look, he leads the conference with nearly 8 assists a game and gets everybody else involved, that becomes a huge problem. And you can't, if Tennessee gets A&M in rotation on defense, they're going to get every shot they want. And what Rick Barnes does so well on offense is watch off the ball. They have so much movement off the ball. All the screens that they do on the weak side, that's why they're so difficult to defend. Back to the offense. Can the offense for Texas A&M set up their defense? What I mean by that, make Tennessee take it out of the hoop. Take those predictable shots. Go win the battle of rebounds. That's always the key. If the Aggies can win that rebounding battle, they give themselves a chance in every game.
You beat them the last 2 times you played them in College Station. You played them, then you got Vandy at home. Then you go to Florida on March 1st. Then you go to Neville on March 4th against Auburn. That's hell on earth, that schedule.
That's the SEC, Scott.
just worry about tomorrow, or you'll get a headache, a migraine looking at that schedule. Good to see you, buddy.